Hey guys, for Unit 9, we are talking about interest on loans. So we've switched over into the economics of real estate. So this will be a little bit more applicable, hopefully. Number 1 says a woman borrowed $2,000 against her credit card at 10.5% interest. The loan will be repaid in 9 months. What amount will be repaid when the 9 months have elapsed? So what we're looking for is the total she had to pay back after she was charged interest. So we know that the original loan amount she borrowed was $2,000. So the loan or loan amount, I might write both, was $2,000. The interest rate was 10.5%. So we are going to multiply the loan amount by the interest rate. It was 10.5%, so that's 0.105. When you multiply that, you get your yearly interest, your annual interest, which is $210. Okay, it says she's going to repay the loan in 9 months. So let's come down here. There are 12 months in a year, so we're going to do 9 divided by 12, or 9/12. 9 months out of 12 months. When you do the math on that, that is 0.75. So she is going to repay it in 0.75 years. So we need to multiply the yearly interest by 0.75. This is the years. So the interest that she will pay on the $2,000 that she borrowed is $157.50. But we have to add back in the original $2,000 that she borrowed. So we're going to add back in the loan amount, which was $2,000. So the total she will pay is $21.57.50. It would be C. Number 2 says the interest on a 10% cash advance loan was $72 for 6 months. What was the principal amount of the loan? So we have the interest rate and how much the interest was for 6 months. We just need to figure out how much the actual loan was. So we are going to take the amount of interest, which was $72. This was for 6 months. Let's figure out how much it was per month so we can figure it out. We're going to divide this by 6 months to figure out how much it was per month. It was $12. This was the interest per month. It was $12 per month. And let's find that we need to find the yearly interest, the annual interest. So we're going to multiply this by 12 months because there's 12 months in a year. So the yearly interest would be $144. All right, it already said that it was 10% interest rate. It was a 10% cashback loan. So we are going to divide that interest by the interest rate, 0.1. This is the 10%. This can also be called APR. This is yearly interest rate. When you do that, you get $1,440. This is the amount that the loan was actually for, so your answer is B. 3, how many months will it take for $15,000 to yield $1,125 at a 10% interest. So we know that we're going to have $15,000 to start. This time, instead of paying interest, we're actually going to get interest back. All right, so this is the starting amount. We know that the interest rate is 10%. So interest rate is 10% or 0.1. That means in a year, that every year it will gain $1,500 in interest. It says yearly interest. Okay, it said how long will it take for the interest to yield to the interest to be $1,125. So the interest will be $1,125. So we know that we're trying to figure out, this is the amount of interest, and we also know that every year it's going to make $1,500 in interest. So let's divide this by the yearly interest, and it will tell us how long it will take to make this much. When you do the math on that, that is 0.75. This is how many years it would take. So it would take, if you change this into 0.75 years, is 9 months. 3/4 of a year is 9 months. So your answer on 3 would be B. 4 says a man was charged $12.95 on a $14,000 loan from a retail store for 1 year. What was the rate of interest? So we are looking for the interest rate. We know how much interest was charged, and we know what the loan amount is. So all we need to do is take the interest and divide it by the loan, and it will give us the yearly interest rate. So the interest charged was $12.95, and the loan amount was $14,000. When you divide that, you get 0.0925 or 9.25%. It gives this in fractions. 0.25 is just 1/4. So answer is B. Number 5 says, what will the quarterly interest payments, I'll move this so you can actually see it. What will the quarterly interest payments be on a $16,500 loan at 6.5% interest for 1 year? So we're looking for quarterly interest payments. But we can find out how much the actual interest payment is for the year and then divide it into quarters. So we know that the loan, I'll try to write a little bit bigger, guys. We know that the loan was for $16,500, and the interest rate is 6.5%. So we can multiply the loan amount by the interest rate, 0.065, and this will tell us what the yearly interest is. So when you do that, the yearly interest is $1,072.50. So that's for a year, but we need to know quarterly. So we're going to divide this into 4, or you could multiply by 2.5. Into 4, and that would be $268.13. That would be your quarterly interest. So your answer would be D.